Are you ready? Yes, folks, it's December 31st, 2020. A horrible year. Let's not even talk about that. It's been a horrible year. But what has kept me going and what I think has kept you going is the music, man. The music is what makes it happen. The music is what keeps us smiling, somewhat happy, and we were able to get through this year because of the wonderful music we love and listen to. Let's be honest, right? So, I came up with my top 17 new releases for 2020. Why 17? Why not? Seriously, folks, I could have done a top 10 or cut it off at 15 or tried to squeeze out another 3 somewhere to make it a top 20. But you know what? There were some other releases that I didn't get to experience as fully as I should have this year. A couple I just found out about, so I wasn't able to include them, unfortunately. So I came up with 17 releases that I feel are the best new releases of this year, and I want to share it with you, and I want to highly recommend each and every one of these releases to you. If you're a lover of great music like I am, I think you'll like these releases. And we're all different. You watch other people's list, and they may include more blues or jazz or heavier rock or progressive rock or pop music, whatever. We're all different. So everybody's list and taste is going to be a little different. So any of you that know me well, you kind of know what's going to be on this list this year, okay? So let's see how close you came to picking some of the ones that you thought I would pick. So, without further ado, the bottom 3 are archival releases. They're not new material by these artists this year. They are archive releases. And I just feel they're very important, and I feel they're great releases, so I wanted to include them. So, let's not waste any time. I don't want this video to be too long, so you bail on me and leave and say, the heck with this guy, he's going on too long. Let's get right into the Matt Street top new releases of 2020. And at number 17 is Doug Fieger from the Knack, Forever Together. Folks, a 3 CD set. It's wonderful. It's fabulous. If you're into the Knack, power pop, jangle pop, great rock and roll, great pop music, folks, you need this set. It's fabulous. This thing is just great. Great, great, great. 3 CDs, folks, and let me tell you, it's all here. You get Doug's one and only complete solo album, which has been remastered and is hard to come by nowadays, but it's included on disc 1 here, along with an EP he did of Hank Williams covers. Fabulous stuff. Disc 2 gets into some early demos he did with Bert Navarre, his co-songwriter and leader of the Knack, and some of their demos are on here, their early demos. You get songs he did with his band after the Knack called Doug Fieger Taking Chances. You get some other great stuff on here, Doug solo stuff on disc number 2. It's just fantastic. He worked with Elliot Easton with the Zen Cruisers. That's on here. It's just great, great stuff. And then disc 3 is where you get a lot of the real heavy Knack material. You get about, I want to say about 10 or 11 live Knack songs from when they reunited in the early 90s, and they did some great shows, and they have about 11 live songs from the Knack on here, and plus some unreleased stuff and remixes. It's just a great, great set, folks. I can't recommend it enough. It had to make my top new releases of 2020. It just came out not too long ago, and I highly recommend it, folks. Doug Fieger from the Knack, and the Knack's on here. Forever Together, number 17. Okay, number 16 is something, if you can get this, great. If you can't, I at least recommend getting the 3 CD set of this. It's Shakin' Stevens, The Fire in the Blood. Folks, a 19 CD set with every one of his solo albums remastered. 4 CDs of unreleased stuff and alternate material. 2 live concerts, a Christmas album, posters, pictures of Shaky, and even Shakin' Stevens' autograph. It's in here, and I haven't opened it yet, so you're probably saying, Matt, how do you know all this about this if you haven't opened it yet? Folks, Spotify, you ever hear of Spotify? And plus, I've known Shaky's career for decades, and I love his music. I love this guy. Great musical artist, rockabilly, rock and roll, pop. It's just great, great music, folks. and I can't wait to open this up and dive into it. But I have been sampling it for weeks on Spotify, and I love it. And I'm so happy I got this. Look at all you get in there, folks. Look at this set. And Shakin' Stevens autograph to boot. You can't beat it. If you're a fan of shaky, rockabilly, rock and roll, you got to get this, folks. And if you don't want to go this high, and go with the 3 CD set called Singled Out. It's got all his best on that set. Highly recommended. It's my number 16 new release for 2020. Had to include this one as my favorite archival release of 2020. At number 15, the one and only John Lennon, Give Me Some Truth. And folks, if you don't want to get the big deluxe set like this, there is a 2 CD set that has all the material on it. Folks, it's been completely remixed, and for better, in my opinion. I think it sounds fabulous. I know there's some naysayers, and there's some people like me who love it, and there's some people who go, meh, whatever, but I love it. I think this is great, and it gives me hope after the Imagine set came out a while ago, and now we have this, and now we have possibly the Plastic Ono Band album to look forward to. Yeah, we want it. Remix it. Give it to us, okay? We want it. And this is great, folks. Get this. And like I say, you don't want to go this high end, go with the 2 CD set. Folks, great, great stuff. It deserves to be in my top new releases of 2020 at number 15. Okay, the first album of all new material by an artist is at number 14. And folks, if you're a fan of my channel, you have to know this band. The Weaklings 3. Their third album, folks, on Gem Records, the great Gem Records I've talked about before. Folks, this is a fabulous album from the Weaklings. It is my favorite of their 3 albums. They keep getting better and better and better. 3, the best, right here, folks. Get it. I'm telling you, this is power pop, rock and roll, Beatlesque, jangle pop, whatever you want to call it, pop music. How many superlatives do I have to throw out there? You need this album. It's great. It's at number 14, The Weaklings 3. All right, I know I'm getting excited, folks. I'm just trying to get this going, get it moving. That's why I'm talking fast, going quick. Okay, number 13 is a great, stellar album. I have many CDs by this guy. I have 1 vinyl album by him. I've seen him live, and he's fantastic. Folks, at number 13, After Party by Kurt Baker. Wow. Folks, get this album. You won't be sorry. It's great. I mean, I don't listen to stuff if it stinks. I only listen to good stuff, and this is good stuff. It's on Wicked Cool Records, and it's wicked cool. It's great. Folks, this stuff is, you're not going to hear it on terrestrial FM rock radio where they play the same 100 songs over and over again. They don't play the good new rock and roll. You want to hear the good new rock and roll, you have to really hunt for it and search for it. But you can find it, and you can hear a lot of it on Sirius XM. You can hear some of it on different podcasts. But folks, Kurt Baker, outside of terrestrial rock radio, which stinks, he's all over the place, folks, and he's great. And he has many CDs out, albums, but this is the newest one, and it's fabulous. You can start with this one. I'm losing track here, 13, After Party, Kurt Baker. Great album. Folks, at number 12, take the Ramones. You like the Ramones? I love the Ramones. Take some Sunshine Pop. Take some 70s pop music. Take some bubblegum pop. Take some power pop, rock and roll, Ramones again, a little bit of punk, and you get the Yum Yums. For those about to pop, we salute you. No, but that's what it's called, For Those About to Pop. And it is great, folks. You'll love this album. It is a fun album. It just makes you happy and makes you smile. Like I said earlier, when I started this video, we need that this year. And coming into 2021, which we hope will be a better year, you need good, fun rock and roll like this, folks. And I love this album. Get it. The Yum Yums. For those about to pop, it is my number 12. Okay. Getting close to that top 10, but number 11 is another great band called The Overtures. Once in a World. Folks, jangle pop. Beatlesque pop, early Beatles pop. This album is fabuloso. Great. Not like the cleaning stuff, fabuloso, just fabuloso. It's great. You're going to love it. Folks, number 11, it deserves it. It's a fantastic album. the overtures, Once in a World. Okay, whoo, moving right along. Now this is one of those bands where I could have had a top 18 if I knew their other album. They released 2 albums in 2020. One's an album of all original material. They're a great band, a great current band, but I don't have that new album of original material and I'm not that familiar with it. So unfortunately, due to time constraints and I had to get this video done, it's December 31st, we're at the end of the year, I had to leave that one off because I'm not familiar with it. However, their other album they released this year was an album of all 60s pop and rock covers. Yes, folks, at number 10, we're in the top 10 now, The Explorers Club, To Sing and Be Born Again. Folks, look at the lineup on here. I can't even read it all for you. It's got just some great material on there. Freeze it, whatever you want to do. But folks, this album is wonderful. It will make you happy. It will make you smile. Every one of these albums, all 17 of these, you need to have, because if you're feeling down and gloomy and in the dumps, like I get sometimes, yes, even Matt Street gets down and out. I do. And I need help sometimes. And I have a good support system, as I'm hoping you do. But this is another one of my support systems. The wonderful music we have and love, it keeps us going. And folks, this will keep you going. The Explorers Club at number 10, To Sing and Be Born Again. Okay, at number 9. Wow, this is a great one. It's their second album, and it's my favorite. I love their first album from several years ago, but this one is great. At number 9, The Great Empty Hearts, the second album. Folks, unbelievable. Again, superlatives. I use the same. Power pop, rock and roll, jangle, melody, harmony. It's all here, folks. It's great. This is a mini, also on Wicked Cool Records. Mini supergroup here. You have Elliot Easton from the Cars. You have Andy Babiak from the Chesterfield Kings. You have Wally Palmer from the Romantics. And you have Clem Burke from Blondie. Need I say more? You need this album. It's great, okay? And it definitely shot up into the top 10 easily. Empty Hearts, the second album at number 9. Wow, this album really caught me out of left field. I didn't even know it was coming out. He hadn't put an album out for about 10 years. But wow, when I heard this, it's just got a good message to it. The lyrics he writes, in some ways, are very spiritual and very soothing and comforting. And for that alone, you need this to listen to these lyrics. But the musicality is great too. The melody, the harmony, it's just a wonderful album. His first in almost 10 years, produced by the great Mark Hudson, who worked with Ringo Starr. Number 8 for 2020 in my book, Joey Molland, former Badfinger member from England. Be True to Yourself. With cover photos taken by Julian Lennon. Yes, the Julian Lennon, who sings on this also, with Mickey Dolenz, among other guests, is on this album. Joey did a great job with this album, working with Mark Hudson. Like I said, the messages on this album are so uplifting and so powerful. Number 8, Joey Molland, former Badfinger, Be True to Yourself. This is another one of those albums that kind of hit me out of left field because you're not going to hear it on regular terrestrial rock radio. Forget it. So, but if you listen to podcasts, if you listen to like Sirius XM, channels like the Underground Garage, or channels that play new stuff, like Spectrum or something, you hear stuff like this. And I was hearing a lot of songs from this album going, wow, every one I heard was a winner. So I finally broke down and said, I got to get that album. And folks, it is so good, it shot into my top 7. At number 7 on the great Gem Records, again, Nick Puente and the Complicated Men, Downtime. Folks, a wonderful power pop and rock and roll album. Just straight out rock and roll, folks. Power pop. You're going to love it. Check it out, folks. It's my number 7. I love this album. He's got several CDs out. He's been around a few years. Nick Puente and the Complicated Men, Downtime, number 7. Okay. Wow, this one, talk about crawling out from the wreckage and standing on your 2 feet again and just being right there. This band was, I thought, down and out, folks. I've loved them since I was a young teenager from the 70s. And they lost a lead singer, and they bounced back and became bigger than ever, and they're still going, folks, through trials and tribulations. At number 6, AC/DC, Power Up. Folks, this is a fabulous AC/DC album. With AC/DC, you know what you're going to get, okay? They're AC/DC. All right, so it's the riffs, it's Angus, it's Brian Johnson and the gang. We lost Malcolm a couple of years ago, sadly, but nephew Stevie Young has stepped into those shoes, and he does an admirable job. And Brian Johnson had health issues, and losing Malcolm, and Phil Rudd had legal issues, which we won't get into. But folks, I don't know how they did it, but through all those troubles and issues they were facing, they've come back with a great album. It's AC/DC, Power Up, number 6. Okay, number 5 is a great little compilation album, which I highly recommend. It's on Gem Records. Again, you're going to hear a lot of Gem Records on this list. Gem Records celebrates John Lennon. What a great compilation, folks. All the artists on Gem Records came together and put out a great compilation of John's music with the Beatles and solo for what would have been his 80th birthday. It came out October 9th. How fitting, and what a tribute. And great cover art on it. And folks, get this album. Some of the artists mix it up a little bit and change some of the arrangements on John's songs, and they sound wonderful. And some of them stay true to the originals. But all in all, it's a great listen. Every song on here is a winner. Sounds great. And it's just such a wonderful compilation celebrating John Lennon that I had to get it up there, folks. I just love this album so much. I had to bring it up into the top 10. It's in the top 5. Number 5, Gem Records celebrates John Lennon. Okay, at number 4. This is a wonderful album, folks. Again, another band that I've liked since I was a teenager, who bounced back again this year and put out a winner, just like AC/DC. Folks, The Pretenders. Hate for Sale is number 4. I love this album, folks. Martin Chambers, where's Martin? Right there. Original drummer, still with the band. And Chrissie Hynde. What can you say about Chrissie? She sounds great on this album. Martin's drumming is fabulous on this album. The songwriting is top-notch. The playability is top-notch. Folks, it's a wonderful addition to the Pretenders catalog. It's right up there with some of their best albums, and I highly recommend it. Pretenders, Hate for Sale, number 4 for 2020. New releases. All right, this band, I knew them in their original configuration back when I was in the United States Air Force, back in the late 70s, early 80s. But in the early 80s, they really came big in the UK and Europe. They were called Bucks Fizz, and they had several hits before I was assigned back to the States. And I knew of them, and I liked the songs I heard. But once I came back to the States, I kind of lost touch with them. They weren't big in the United States. Well, years later, I finally got back into them, thanks to the Stephen Schnee channel, because he's into Bucks Fizz, and he turned me on to their new configuration called the Fizz. Okay? And they are fabulous, folks. This one's called Smoke and Mirrors. It just came out in 2020. And folks, this is a perfect pop album. Every song on here could be a single. It's fabulous. They sound great. One of the kind of ABBA-esque. Well, ABBA, that's the way we say it in New England. ABBA. Very much, if you like that style of pop music from ABBA, then you'll like the Fizz. And they actually did have at one time 2 guys and the 2 gals in the band, but one of the guys just left because of personal reasons. But they're still a wonderful band. If you like that ABBA-esque pop, perfect pop album for you right here, folks. Brand new for 2020. It's my number 3, Smoke and Mirrors by the Fizz. Okay, my number 2, I have to admit, I hemmed and hawed over this album. I wasn't sure what to do with it because I like this album. It's good. But I'm not going to fawn all over it like some people are and say, oh, it's an instant classic. Every song is fabulous. It's an A album, A+, his greatest thing ever. I'm not going to do that, folks. I have to be honest with myself and what I think it is. I think this is a good album, maybe a very good album, but I'll say a good, solid album. It's a good, solid B. I like it. But, you know, it's a sentimental pick, maybe that I shot him all the way up to number 2. But it is a good album. I do like the majority of the songs on it. They are enjoyable to me. There's only a couple that I'm like, And there's one real stinky one on here. But for the most part, it's a good, solid album. You've got to give the man credit for all these, you know, given to us musically all these decades. I had to give number 2 to McCartney 3. I love it. It's a good album. That's what I'll say about it, okay? I can't say it's a classic McCartney, but it's good. It's a good album. This is my Target exclusive green CD with the different back picture, and you get the green die on the front. But it's a good album, folks. You know, I would recommend this to any Beatles fan or fan of Paul. And if you're not a fan of the Beatles or Paul, you're probably not going to look upon this album as highly as we do as Beatles and Paul fans. But in my book, this is a good album, possibly very good, okay? And it does make my number 2 for 2020, McCartney 3. So that leaves my number 1, and I think if you know me and you know this is my sentimental pick too, folks, but it deserves to be up here on Gem Records, The Midnight Callers, Red Letter Glow. Folks, the little band that I met like 2 years ago in New York City, playing in the Bitter End Club in Lower East Side, Manhattan. And within 2 years, they go from, doing well in the clubs in New York City to getting a record deal, to getting a management deal, to recording a top-notch rock and roll power pop album, getting it released, getting it out there, getting the coolest song in the world on Little Steven's Underground Garage, having 5 of their songs played constantly on Little Steven's Underground Garage, and who knows what the future's going to bring for this great new young band. So folks, for all that effort, for all they've done to achieve in the last 2 years, and because I love this album so much, I'm so familiar with it, I highly recommend it to everybody out there. If you haven't gotten it yet, I don't know what you're waiting for, folks. This is, you always say, where's the great new rock and roll? It's right here, folks. Here it is. Power pop, rock and roll. Here it is. New rock and roll music for 2020 going into 2021. You need this album. My number 1 pick for new releases in 2020 is Red Letter Glow by the Midnight Callers. And that's it, folks. I hope you enjoyed my top 17 of 2020. Here's to a better 2021 with more great new music. Here's to a better 2021 with being able to see each other again and get close to one another again and spend time together again. I pray for that. I hope for that. I wish the best to you and all your loved ones. Blessings from me, from Matt Street to you. And let's hope that we will have a better 2021 with a great big light at the end of that tunnel. I hope it's this year, folks. We need it. But in the meantime, listen to the music. Get into it. It will make you happy. It will make you smile. It will get you through the dark times. I promise. Love you all. Bye-bye.